Hey Tacklers, I am Malikka Rogers, 1/3 of the Tackling Tomfoolery podcast. We just want to thank you all so much for coming with us on the season 1 journey. Thanks for tuning in week after week as we worked out the kinks while trying to give you the best content and conversation we could. We are now on to season 2, and Franzi AM and I are excited for the opportunity to continue tackling tomfoolery in the form of weekly conversations laced with a few rants. During season 1, we talked about coons, sellouts, toms, panderers, or however you choose to describe them. We talked about friendship and our history of getting to know each other, body image, sex, self-care, pet peeves, food, and a whole lot of other topics. We even had 3 really special guests. We had Tamara Kellum, who was our guest for the body image episode. And then we had Julian Long, who chimed in for our toxic masculinity conversation. And then we had a really adorable 8-year-old guest, Henry Inman, our producer's son, for our music mini-sode. So season 2 is going to be just as full of the intensity, the humor, the honesty, and the little sauce that only the hosts of Tackling Tomfoolery can deliver. We brainstormed among ourselves during our hiatus, and we polled our regular listeners for topics they want tackled in the upcoming season, and the ideas flowed. So in the upcoming season, we'll be talking about Blackness, how we defined it for ourselves, when we knew we were Black and what that meant for us, whether or not we accepted it or when we accepted it, and what some of our experiences are as Black women. We're going to be talking about fledgling friendships and when it's time to let them go. We'll revisit unpopular opinions, which was something that was really popular in our mini-sode we did during our hiatus, and it's really interesting that we'd find popularity in an unpopular opinion episode. But we're going to be expounding on some of what we covered in the mini-sode, and we'll also present some previously unmentioned points of view that probably will keep us out of the in crowd, but I think we're accustomed to that by now. So we'll also discuss social activism and what we do as individuals to do outreach in our communities to help people. We're going to talk double standards, interracial relationships, and wokeness, and whether or not they're mutually exclusive. We'll be talking social media and our lives before and after it, and sort of how social media permeates our lives at this point, and whether or not it's a help for us or in some cases a hindrance. And we'll also be talking Black conservatism and what it means for us all. It's something that is not exactly a popular point of view, seemingly, but it is a very real thing. There are a lot of Black conservatives, and I think warrants a conversation. And we'll also be talking about ghosting, the ghosting phenomenon of, hey, he's been hitting me every day for 6 weeks on the phone. I've got regular text messages, phone calls, emails, inboxes. We're going on dates. We're having a good time. And then one day he or she just disappears. Doesn't return calls, answer calls, respond to text messages. So we're going to be talking about that and other scummy ways people opt to end romantic relationships. We will also be adding a segment in season 2. A couple times during season 1, we tried to figure out how it was going to fit into the show, and now we have it figured out. So this week in fuckery is going to be a regular segment of the Tackling Tomfoolery podcast, and it'll give our listeners an opportunity to sort of get to know our individual voices and perspectives. So we definitely have a whole lot to say during season 2. We have a whole lot to say all the time anyway. And we want your input. We value it. So if you have suggestions, comments, something you want to talk about that worked for you, or you want to talk about what didn't work for you, or you want to discuss with us what you'd like to hear us talk about in the future, please follow us, rate us, and listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. You can make comments there. You can follow us on Facebook at the Tackling Tomfoolery podcast and on Instagram at Tackling Tomfool. They just would not let us be great by letting us add the ERY on the end. So it's just Tackling Tomfool on Instagram. Or if you are one who subscribes to a more old school way of contacting, you can hit us on email at tacklingtomfoolery@gmail.com or contact us by phone at 916-573-1065. We really, really love getting feedback from our listeners. The Tackling Tomfoolery podcast is produced by Bryn Inman for Evergreen Talent Collective. We are looking forward to hearing from you in season 2. Bye.